my well-wishers, my patrons, and those who are joining my class, and those who are willing to learn English, speak English fluently, and also write English elegantly. And tonight, I'm going to share my ideas with you about simple, complex, and compound. Very often, we confuse between a simple sentence and a complex sentence, between a complex sentence and a compound sentence. Somebody has joined my class, and let him call his friends so that they may attend. And I am going to give you the first hand idea about simple sentence. And you know that according to structure, a sentence divided into three categories: simple, complex, and compound. What is a simple sentence? You know that a simple sentence is a sentence having only one finite verb or one principal verb. Clear? For example, I go to school. Here, go is the only finite verb, and it is obviously a simple sentence. I am going to school. Yes, it is also a simple sentence because you know that am is auxiliary verb and going is principal verb. Clear? He is a brilliant boy. You know that be verb has three forms: am, is, and are. Naturally, here it is also a simple sentence. It is also a simple sentence. He is a very intelligent boy. Here, is the form of be verb, and therefore it is also an example sentence. Clear? And I am telling you different types of sentences. For example, I have done this. I have done my homework. Here it is in the present perfect tense. Have is auxiliary verb and done is finite verb or principal verb. So it is also an example of simple sentence. So another example, I have been doing this work for 5 hours. It is perfect, present perfect continuous tense, but doing is the only principal verb. And have been, tell me one. Hi, uncle. Yes, you may ask me any type of question, and I will try my level best to solve. Because I worked as an assistant teacher in English in a government high school for more than 37 years. And from my experience of classroom teaching, I am giving you my ideas, nothing else. I know where the weakness of the students lie, and therefore I know where the shoes pinches, and that is why I am discussing with you all these items. However, let us come to the conclusion that a simple sentence is a sentence which has only one finite verb or one principal and only one principal verb. Clear? But there is a question. For example, how can we combine two or more than two simple sentences into one simple sentence? Yes, there are many methods. We may use participle, we may use absolute phrase, we may use infinitive, we may use preposition plus noun and preposition plus gerund, we may use adverbs and adverbials, we may use noun in apposition or phrase in apposition. So there are many methods by which we can combine two or more than two simple sentences into one simple sentence. However, let us discuss tonight what simple sentence is. Your first-hand knowledge is to know or learn that a sentence which has only one finite verb is a simple sentence. And what is a complex sentence? Let us know. What is a complex sentence? Hello, my dear students, those who are listening to my discussion, you may like, you may comment, you may share, and don't forget to subscribe my channel and Easy Step to English Grammar. And Easy Step to English Grammar is willing to cater to your tests whenever I am live, whenever I am online. I will solve your problem when you ask me. Don't hesitate to like, comment, share, and subscribe. However, what is a complex sentence? A complex sentence is a sentence which has only one principal clause and one or two or more than two subordinate clause or clauses. Clear? This sentence is called a complex sentence. Again, I am repeating. My dear students, my dear listeners, a sentence which has only one principal clause and one or two or more than two subordinate clauses is called a complex sentence. As for example, I may give you an example. For example, I went to my native village where I saw my ailing uncle who has been suffering from fever for 7 days. Just follow the sentence. I went to my native village where I saw my ailing uncle who has been suffering from fever for 7 days. And let us analyze the sentence. And you will see what complex sentence is. For example, I went to my native village, principal clause, because it is the main clause on which the other clauses are dependent or depend. For example, where I saw my ailing uncle, where I saw my ailing uncle is subordinate adjective clause or relative clause, and qualifying the noun native village. Clear? Because it is qualifying, the subordinate clause is qualifying the noun native village. And again, who has been suffering from fever for 7 days, subordinate adjective clause or relative clause, and qualifying the noun ailing uncle. So one principal clause and two subordinate clauses. Naturally, we may come to the conclusion that it is an example of complex sentence. Let us take another example. For example, when I heard the news, I rushed to the spot where I met my old friend. And let us analyze the sentence. I rushed to the spot is principal clause. It is the main clause. When I heard the news, it is subordinate adverb clause of time. And modifying the verb rust. Rust to the spot, rust. Again, where I met my old friend, it is subordinate adjective clause or relative clause, and qualifying the noun the spot. Clear? So the function of adjective clause is to qualify a noun or a noun phrase, that is called antecedent, and function of an adverb clause is to modify either a verb or an adverb or an adjective. Clear? Now, let us take another example. Though he was poor, he was honest. And let us analyze the sentence. He was honest, principal clause. Though he was poor, it is adverb clause of contrast. And the adjective poor. Modifying the adjective poor. However, now let us come to the conclusion again, my dear friends, my dear viewers, and everyone who have attended my class. Come to the conclusion that a sentence having only one principal clause and one or two or more than two subordinate clauses in a sentence is obviously a complex sentence. So, one finite verb is equal to one clause. Remember it. If you see that there are more than one verbs in a sentence, you are sure that it is not a simple sentence. Clear? Now, let us come to compound sentence. Let us come to compound sentence. What is a compound sentence? A sentence having two or more than two having two or more than two principal clauses is called a compound sentence. A sentence having two or more than two subordinate clauses is called a compound sentence. For example, let us take some examples. We shall take some examples and we shall deduce the law or come to the conclusion. For example, I was going to my friend's house and I saw that my friend was coming to my house. Let us repeat the sentence. I was going to my friend's house and I saw that my friend was coming to my house. And let us analyze the sentence. I was going to my friend's house, principal clause. Clear? I was going to my principal clause. I was going to my friend's house, principal clause. And is connective. And is connective. I saw another principal clause. I saw another principal clause. Clear? That he was coming to my house. That he was coming to my house is subordinate noun clause. Subordinate noun clause, an object to the verb saw, because it is acting as the object of the verb saw. So there are two principal clauses and only one subordinate clause, that is noun clause. And it is an example of compound sentence. Let us take another example. He will wash his clothes or will clean the floor. He will wash his clothes or will clean the floor. There are only two principal clauses. That means either he will wash his clothes or will clean the floor. So or is connective and there are two principal clauses. Clear? I was sick. I was sick, comma, so I could not attend the meeting. So I could not attend the meeting. I was sick, principal clause. So is connective. I could not attend the meeting, another principal clause. So it is a compound sentence. Clear? But is also a connector. For example, I wanted to attend the important discussion. I wanted to attempt the important discussion, but I could not go. due to heavy rainfall. Due to heavy rainfall. Hello, my dear friends. I cannot speak Hindi. I understand Hindi. I know Hindi, but I cannot speak Hindi. This is uh, my weak point. This is my weak point, please. Don't mind. I always speak English very fluently, but I can't speak Hindi fluently. However, don't mind. Again, you see that what I wanted or I was desirous of attending the important meeting, but I could not do due to excessive rainfall. Clear? What is connective? And I am sure that it is an example of compound sentence because two principal clauses have been combined by but. So an compound sentence can be combined by and, but, so, or, etc. Okay? Therefore, fluency in English or writing good English or writing or speaking English, communication in English depends upon learning simple sentence, complex sentence, and compound sentence. Today's discussion. But, hello, my friends. I know that I shall have to discuss participle, absolute phrase, infinitive, gerund, adverb and adverbials. Clear? Preposition plus noun and preposition plus gerund, noun in apposition and phrase in apposition. To combine two or more than two simple sentences into one simple sentence. Marketing job is a very good job, but you will have to communicate in English. You should know how to carry on conversation with your client. Therefore, don't mind please, communication in English is a must. And without having the knowledge of grammar, correct knowledge of grammar, correct knowledge of vocabulary, the tidbits of grammar, you can't communicate effectively. So effective communication depends upon good grammar, effective communication depends upon good vocabulary, effective communication depends upon good construction, subject verb agreement, etc. Next day, you remember that I have discussed with you simple, complex, and compound. Next night, obviously, I shall discuss with you simple sentence and many other forms of simple sentence. I promise. Good night. And I hope, firmly hope that you must subscribe my channel. You must like, comment, share, etc. This is my hope, nothing else.